So even though our website's not very stylish yet, it's a worthwhile point to go back, make sure everything's saved, go back to your GitHub desktop, and you've got these save files, and let's call this your first website, whatever description you want. Make sure to commit these and go back. It's called push origin. That'll just update your GitHub repo and make sure all the code's accessible from there. And while that's getting pushed, why don't we go in and make sure that other people can see your website. We'll get you a URL so that you don't have to access it just off of your local computer. So to do that, we're going to need a couple more tools. One is called GitHub Pages. So if you go into the docs for this, this is how GitHub will host your website. It gives a free hosting so that whatever you put on this website that's currently shown on localhost, it'll give you a URL and it'll basically let you distribute your website so that other people can find it too. Now we got to get this into our project, so we'll do yarn add or npm install. Actually, this one is a bit different for npm install. It's called GH Pages, but you're going to want to do -- save dev. But for yarn, it's still pretty simple. We'll do yarn add GH Pages. While that's installing, we're going to go back into this repo that we just posted. Okay. So everything's uploaded on here. You've got a repo. But when you take a look at this repo, there's a couple of things that aren't being published. See, we have this node modules, and we have this .git file up here. And these aren't being published up to GitHub. In fact, when you change anything on here, it won't even show up on your GitHub. Now, the reason for that is something that's called this .gitignore file, and this basically tells Git what to upload, what to show changes, and what to deal with. And when we put up our site, we want it to be a production build, it's called, versus just a development. And this is the higher quality, optimized version of whatever app you're running. And if you're in this .gitignore, you can see this production / build is not being shown. So if we ever have a build file up here, it's not going to pop up on GitHub, but we need that in order to host the website properly. So let's get rid of that. Now when we build it, it'll pop up inside of GitHub. Let's make sure that GH Pages has been installed properly. Yep, everything's looking good there. And to make sure it can get hosted on GitHub, we're going to go into this package JSON. This is the general information about your app. It gives some of the dependencies, it gives some of the versions, the name, etc. And from here, we're going to make a couple changes just so that GitHub recognizes that you want it to host this app. So first off, we need to make sure GitHub has the right URL. And to do that, we'll go back into this package JSON and put in homepage. And the way this homepage is formatted, you'll go back into this GitHub, make sure you know the name of your repository and your username. And it's going to be stored at http // and then whatever your GitHub username is .github.io, and then / again whatever your repository name is. So for me, we'll put in website tutorial. Make sure you put this comma in, and now we have the homepage set, but we still need to do a couple extra changes to make sure that every time you what's called build the project, you can see inside this script build, React scripts build, and that makes a copy basically of whatever app you have that's optimized, it's quicker, it compresses certain files, it generally just does a bunch of things to make it more production ready. But we need to change that so every time we build it, GitHub knows that we're putting out a new version, and that's the version it should host on this homepage URL. So we'll add in a couple scripts here. Eventually it'll be called deploy, but before we even deploy it, we'll have a pre-deploy script right here that tells it to build the most recent version. So we'll put in npm build, I believe is the command. Yep, we'll put in npm build, npm run build, sorry about that, another comma, and then for the actual deploy, we're going to use what we installed just a second ago, that GitHub Pages. So for this script, we're going to want to run gh pages -d build. And there we go. Now we've got our two scripts up here. So we'll go back in. We'll try running yarn or npm, whatever you put it as, npm deploy, yarn deploy, and see if that works out. Now while that's deploying, it should create this React scripts build line, and now you can see this is popped up right here, brand new folder, which is the build. And as long as you had this .gitignore set up properly, you got rid of the production build, it should pop up on here too. And let's just see, make sure this gets built properly. GitHub Pages build, yup. There we go. So it's built. You'll see all these new file changes, and let's put up first production commit. Commit that one more time, push it up to GitHub. Now when we go back into the GitHub and look at our repo, you should see a couple new changes here with the build, as well as a new branch, the GH Pages branch. And from here we're going to go back into settings and tell GitHub that we want this page to be a full-on website with a URL. We'll go down here to the GitHub Pages and look at that. Your site is published right here. There it is. Now you can send this URL to anybody, put it on your resume, whatever you want to do, and anyone can now access your website. And I know it's not a super good looking website yet, it hasn't been styled, there's not a lot of content, and we'll go into that into another tutorial, but hopefully we're gonna get you somewhere along the lines of my own website and add in some styling, some animations. Let me know in the comments if you got any questions or if there's anything you want to see built in the next couple tutorials. But from here you can add in all sorts of cards, contact information, you can add in login forms, whatever you want to do. We'll take it from there. But I hope you guys learned something and got your website up and running. Thanks.